Hi everyone, it's me, Kelly, again. Let's check out the latest and most exciting developments in GH right now. When Cassius finally ripped off that mask right there in the basement in front of Liesl, I felt my heart drop just like hers must have. The way he stood there, revealing himself as Nathan's twin brother, raised in the shadows by Caesar, brought back so many memories of the pain this family has endured. Liesl collapsing from the shock was heartbreaking to watch. After everything she has been through, losing Nathan tore her apart once before, and now this revelation forces her to confront the nightmare all over again. I have always admired Liesl's strength, that fierce maternal instinct mixed with her brilliant but complicated mind. Seeing her face the truth that her other son has become this manipulative monster, using the family like pawns in some dark game, it hits different. Cassius's anger toward Cullum makes perfect sense in its twisted way. Kidnapping his own mother to force Liesl into completing that cold fusion project, it creates such a terrible dilemma for her. On one hand, she wants to protect her remaining family and stop the madness. On the other, the project itself carries enormous risks and ethical questions that could change everything in Port Charles. I keep thinking about how different this feels from the original stories we followed with Nathan. Back then, his loss was final and tragic, a wound that never fully healed for Liesl. But now, with these new adjustments to the plot, the writers are daring to reopen that door, and I have to say it is both painful and thrilling. What really has me on the edge of my seat is Cassius confessing that Nathan is still alive. Can you imagine? After all this time believing her son was gone, Liesl learns there might be a chance to bring him back. Cassius offering to reveal Nathan's location feels like a double-edged sword. Is it another layer of manipulation? Or could it be the breakthrough we have all been hoping for? I have my own theory here, and it might be completely off base compared to the original canon. But I believe this twist proves the writers are giving Liesl the agency she deserves. After years of being sidelined by grief, she needs to act fast, not just for Nathan, but to pull Jocelyn back from the brink before the WSB steps in and takes her away for good. Jocelyn has been through so much already, and watching her spiral mentally is tough for any longtime viewer who remembers her as that bright, resilient young woman. Liesl stepping up to save her adds such a beautiful layer of mentorship and redemption to the story. Let me be honest as someone who has seen every era of this soap. These recent changes feel fresh and necessary. In the classic General Hospital I grew up with, family secrets often stayed buried for years, building tension slowly. Here, Cassius's unmasking accelerates everything, throwing the Windermere household into chaos in a way that keeps me glued to the screen. I love how it highlights the theme of hidden identities that has always been part of the show's DNA, from the Cassadine legacy to the various doubles and clones we have seen over time. But this twin reveal for Nathan, it is on another level. It makes me wonder what kind of life Cassius truly lived in the shadows. Raised by Caesar, trained in manipulation and resentment, he is not just a villain. He is a product of the same darkness that has haunted the Cassadines for generations. My personal take is that while his actions are monstrous, there is a tragic humanity there if Liesl can reach it. Maybe I am too optimistic after all these years, but I want to believe redemption is possible even for someone like him. The situation with Jocelyn breaks my heart in a special way. She has always been one of my favorite younger characters, full of fire and loyalty. Seeing her on the verge of a complete mental collapse, with the WSB circling like vultures, adds such high stakes. Liesl racing against time to save her before they intervene feels urgent and personal. I keep asking myself, will this force Liesl to make an impossible choice between saving her biological sons and protecting Jocelyn, who has become like family? The answer seems to be unfolding episode by episode, and it has me checking my schedule so I do not miss a single one. What I appreciate most is how these plot points weave together the old and the new. The Cold Fusion Project ties into larger scientific intrigue that reminds me of some of the wilder storylines from the 80s and 90s, but with modern emotional depth. Cassius using it as leverage shows how calculated he is, and it forces Liesl to confront her past mistakes in a way that feels authentic. As I reflect on these episodes, I cannot help but compare them to the original Nathan arc. In those days, his death was a gut punch that reshaped so many lives, especially Liesl's and Maxie's. Bringing the twin brother in like this is a bold departure, one that some fans might debate, but I think it works because it honors the grief while opening new doors. It proves the show is still evolving, still willing to surprise us veterans who have stuck around through cast changes and writing shifts. My view is that this adjustment makes Nathan's legacy even richer. If he is truly alive somewhere, hidden away, the reunion potential is enormous. I can already picture the emotional scenes ahead, the tears, the questions, the healing. And Liesl at the center of it all, she has never been more compelling. Of course the danger is real. Cassius is playing a dangerous game, and his anger toward Cullum could explode at any moment. That basement confrontation was intense, charged with decades of resentment and lost time. I found myself talking back to the screen, urging Liesl to stay strong. She has faced worse and come out fighting, but this time the stakes involve her very identity as a mother. Saving Jocelyn might be the key to her own salvation too, giving her purpose amid the family turmoil. I love how the writers are balancing the suspense with these quieter moments of realization. It keeps the story from feeling too overwhelming, even as the tension builds. Looking ahead, I am filled with excitement and a touch of nervousness. Will Nathan's return change everything we thought we knew about the Jerome and Cassadine connections? How will Maxie react if she learns the truth? These questions swirl in my mind constantly, and that is exactly what makes General Hospital so addictive after all these years. The show has this wonderful way of making us care deeply about flawed people trying their best in impossible situations. Cassius may be the antagonist right now, but his reveal adds such complexity. Liesl's journey to rescue Nathan while protecting Jocelyn feels like a full-circle moment for her character, one that longtime viewers like me have earned after watching her endure so much loss. There is something comforting about tuning in and knowing that even in the midst of these wild twists, the heart of the show remains the same: love, family, and second chances. This latest chapter with Cassius and Liesl reinforces that beautifully. I have my theories about how it will all resolve, some probably way off from the actual scripts, but that is part of the fun. The important thing is that it keeps me invested, keeps me discussing it with friends who have watched just as long, and keeps me hopeful for more heartfelt stories. If the writers continue in this direction, blending shocking reveals with genuine emotion, General Hospital will stay must-watch television for many more years. I cannot wait to see what Liesl does next, how she balances saving Nathan with helping Jocelyn, and whether Cassius's mask was truly the last one hiding secrets in Windermere. The heat is on, and I am here for every single minute of it. When Cassius confessed that Nathan was still alive, I sat there stunned, wondering if my longtime favorite show was truly daring to rewrite the pain we all felt when we lost him. Now it seems confirmed. Nathan is coming home, and his return is already proving to be one of the most explosive new troubles stirring in Port Charles. Liesl has been carrying the weight of her fractured family for so long. The shock of discovering Cassius as Nathan's twin, raised in darkness by Caesar, nearly broke her. Yet the promise of reuniting with her son gives her a fighting chance. I truly believe this is the kind of heartfelt pivot the story needed. Liesl has always been a force, brilliant and fierce, but the grief over Nathan hollowed her out. Seeing her face Cassius's manipulations while clinging to hope for Nathan's return shows her strength in a whole new light. What touches me most is how Nathan's homecoming will help solve the deep problems plaguing both Liesl and Britt. Britt has walked her own complicated path, full of mistakes and redemptions. And the bond between mother and daughter has been tested many times. With Cassius's plot truly exploding around them, they need Nathan's steady presence more than ever. I picture him stepping back into Port Charles, perhaps changed by whatever hidden ordeal he survived, yet still carrying that same sense of honor and loyalty we loved about him. His return could be the anchor that steadies Liesl as she battles the ethical nightmare of the Cold Fusion Project and Cassius's threats. At the same time, Britt might finally find the sibling support she has secretly craved. These new adjustments to the storyline feel bold and different from the original arcs we followed years ago. Back then, Nathan's loss felt permanent, a tragic chapter that shaped so many lives. Now the writers are showing us that even the deepest wounds can reopen into healing, and I am here for it. Cassius's scheme is reaching a boiling point, and the explosion promises to shake Windermere and beyond. His anger toward Cullum, using the kidnapping of Liesl to force her hand, created such a tense dilemma. But with Nathan's imminent return, everything shifts. Will Nathan confront his twin and expose the full extent of the manipulation? I keep asking myself that question, and the anticipation keeps me awake at night. The way Cassius has been pulling strings, hiding in plain sight, makes his eventual reckoning feel inevitable and satisfying. Yet, I worry about the collateral damage. Jocelyn remains so fragile, her mental state hanging by a thread as the WSB looms. Nathan arriving at just the right moment could provide the strength Liesl needs to save the young woman before it is too late. It is classic General Hospital, weaving personal family drama with larger dangers in a way that feels both familiar and excitingly fresh. As a viewer who has seen every era, I appreciate how these changes honor the past while pushing forward. Nathan helping Liesl and Britt navigate their current crises adds such rich emotional layers. Liesl will have to balance her joy at regaining one son with the painful reality of the other son's darkness. Britt, always carrying her own secrets and health struggles in the past, might finally have a brother who understands the weight of their mother's complicated legacy. My personal opinion, which might differ from the original canon, is that this twin dynamic allows for deeper exploration of nature versus nurture. Cassius, shaped by shadows, stands in stark contrast to the man Nathan became. Their reunion will force everyone, including longtime residents of Port Charles, to examine old loyalties and new betrayals.